Hi, greetings and welcome back once again. This is a very tight little quick intro and get up into this thing. All right. I'm a little bit late, but we want to jump right into it. I pray everybody is doing well. This math ain't mathing. I'm halfway through. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. My goodness, man. Got my brain moving. But let's get up to somebody else's math who has not been mathing. I had to catch up on the end of the season when I had a little sliver of time. I was commenting a bit on following these three couples on Put a Ring on It. And we're trying to extract one of the channels that I had to keep up with because they had brought forth a lot of information, and they also what's the word I'm looking for here, extrapolate things beyond just the hype. Was a Little Black Book, so they were following it, and not only did they follow the story, they got the exclusives. So shout out to the brother over there on Little Black Book 91. He got the exclusives with Darion. I was watching that driving. Yo, with Darion, with Alexia, and with Kai. Okay, so I just saw everything like all in one day, summing it up, and I'm just like, they doing the most. They're doing the most. Okay, the tell-all was doing the most. Uh, the last episodes was doing the most, and then I couldn't help but to think some things that stuck out. I'm gonna go to Darion's interview over there on Little Black Book. Check him out if you missed it. But some things was just like, we noticed early on in the conversation that we were having here. I noticed early on that everything wasn't all on the up and up. I knew he was a bit comical. I knew that there was some other things, but I didn't know it was to this level. And this was a little when we were like, Darion got bars. Let's play that real quick, because this was from like either the first or second episode that let me know that something was in the pot. But let's listen to when he had bars. I couldn't help myself from making this little remix, but hold on.
Let me finish. Usually girls with breasts like that, they bring me in the breast. Let me finish. Usually girls with booty like that, girls shaped like that and look like that, they make the ones who weren't like that look bad. You kissed her? Let me finish. You doing now what she don't do. Don't compare me to her.
Y'all remember that? Don't compare me to her. I just thought that was so weird, right? So much so I thought it was funny. I'm not gonna front. I also thought it was weird, a bit insensitive. But now that we are hearing Darion's side of the story, so if you haven't been following the story, and there goes the popo following somebody. If you haven't been following the story, if you haven't caught up, Darion and Alexia basically steals the show. The other two are there, but they're not as prominent as Darion and Alexia. He goes on 4 simultaneous dates, with Kai, and it comes out that he lays with her, and it's all, all this drama. Anyway, the season ends. Of course, they don't put a ring on it, and now everybody's spilling the tea. Kai comes on, and she's sharing her story. Alexia sharing her story, but Darion's story. Darion struck me when he asserted that it was all, what's going on, Queen T? It was all a gimmick. It was all a play. One thing that every time she kept saying it, I was like, why do you keep saying that? And if you can go back to the tape, I kept saying, why did they keep talking about 14 years? It's like this another sad love song, like they was Tony, but another sad, like 14 years. I'm like, why they keep hitting on them 14 years? I mean, it was getting a bit overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Anyway, according to what Darion is asserting, if you didn't get to see the video, is that they made it up, that they did know each other. Thumbs up the video. Thank you, Queen T. That they did know, and I'm a little bit late, so for those who are waiting, my apologies. That they did know each other. The on and off had got me too. Like, how you on and off for 14 years and he has whole families on you? I don't, that part, it wasn't, the math wasn't mathing. The math wasn't mathing. So when Darion comes and says that they planned it, and it was a setup for them to get in the door, to get on reality TV, to get into they tried Love and Hip Hop and that didn't work, and that they got recruited by this show, so they decided to play a role. I'm like, although he be a little off the chain, it sounds like there's some plausibility to his conversation. According to him, again, the exclusives are over at Little Black Book 91. So if you want to see the full exclusive, which I could not help from laughing, this guy is comical, yo. This guy, this guy, and he's like, he's a Gemini. I'm like, no wonder. He has two personalities. So one person will say they said it, and the other person will swear by and they didn't say it, right? But over on Little Black Book is where I was watching the video yesterday of where he later on gets upset about the questions. Let me just say, what's his name again? I don't want to mess up his name, but the brother over there, he asked some really good questions. And so I'm going to do a little solonomics on. He was able to extract a lot from the conversation. So I appreciate the way he does. Kojo, I think his name is Kojo. I think his name is, right. I appreciate the way he does his, because he starts at childhood, which is usually where I say to start, right? When you're really trying to understand the person that you're looking at. And so he started to ask Darion some, yeah, Kojo, thank you, India, Kojo. He started to ask Darion some questions about childhood. And he was helping Darion begin to move through some of the behavior that we're seeing. Even though he may have been acting, I don't think it was all an act, right? And so he was helping him work through some of the things that he was saying, some of the memories that he was bringing up, and tying it to some of the behaviors that he may be experiencing now. Like, you know, the way he just volunteers information about, drug use and all of this stuff. I'm like, yo, Darion, what's really going on with you? I did think he was a bit over the top, and I kind of attributed that to, at that time, his desire to get back into, hey, what's going on, India, by the way, my bad, his desire to get back into the limelight. But there you go, this is his desire to get back into the limelight. And according to him, how many people saw the interview? According to him, he and Alexa had the plan, and this was the plan, but then Alexa jumped ship and she didn't want to follow the plan, and they got to this point. And I'm like, yo, they tried to play your son. I'm gonna play. I was on to you, Darion. I didn't have time to mess with you for the whole season to really be on to you, but I was a little bit on to you. So I'm gonna play the clip again. Hold on.
Let me finish. Usually girls with breasts like that, they bring me in the breast. Let me finish. Usually girls with booty like that, girls shaped like that and look like that, they make the ones who want like that look bad. You kissed her? Let me finish. You doing now what she don't do. Don't compare me to her.
So everybody who saw that was like, that was a bit over the top for the first date. You comparing your 14-year shorty to some brand new girl. The path wasn't math. So I don't know. Everybody's telling their story. According to what he's saying, Kai didn't know anything. She didn't know what was going on. So she was used, in his words. And it was him and Alexis who planned this whole conversation. Hey, somebody gonna have to answer to something. Y'all can't be playing games with us, with the emotions. You know what I mean? But I will say this to what Darion was sharing as it relates to when we want to go back and look at the original injury. Kojo brought up over on Little Black Book, he brought up emotional PTSD, right? He brought up if Darion was listening, he got, between Dr. Nicole and the stuff that they shared over there, he's well on his way to finding out what in the world is wrong with him. But one of the stories that stuck out to me was the first love. A lot of people don't, and I think I shared on this channel about either soul ties or first loves. I can't remember. I shared a lot, but the first love, that first imprint, that first injury. When he asked him about his first heartbreak, he recalls her name off top of his head. He recalled all the things about the scenario. He went into depth about that conversation or about that experience, because oftentimes our first love deeply imprints us, right? So if I say, well, who was your first love? And I think there's some videos on YouTube where people do interviews like, who was your first love? And boom, off bat, people can remember. They can be 70 and they're telling you the name, the place, the date, all of these things, because that's how strongly it imprints the mind. That's one thing we can take away from this conversation, is that depending on how that strong imprint, outside of your parental guardians who invested into your early years, that first time that you were quote in love, or that you willingly uh, gave your attention and your affection towards someone, these are the things that's going to determine oftentimes how you look and expect love outside, like I said, of your parents or your guardians or your grandparents or whoever took care of you. Outside of that, I'm talking about intimate relationship. You're going to look at, was it unrequited? Meaning, what kind of love was it? Okay, yeah, I'm talking about Darion, but we got to bring it on home. So, was it a crush? Was it one way? Was it only you? Toward putting your energy and effort towards that person? Did the person receive your energy and effort, your love and your adoration? Was it well, we're talking about your first love. So was it unrequited? Did you express? Did you tell that person? Were you afraid? Um, how did it initiate? What did you first do? What was your love language as a child? Did you tell them? Did you give them a gift? What ways did you show that love? And what was the person's reaction? Because that is like the basis of how we begin now to look at the world, the lens by which we look at oftentimes these type of relationships. So when Darion is sharing about his first love, listen closely. The first love, or after he is all infatuated with dark melanin and all of these things, I found it interesting that his first love was of a lighter complexion, his words, and wavier hair. So his first love had mixed type of phenotype, right? I found that interesting. But you have to watch the video to understand. So then he says that his first love is distant. She's far away. She is on the other side of town, right? And so it builds up this thing in the imagination, in the mind, of what you think the person is, because you're not physically there with the person, and interfacing with the person, and they're afar off from you. This is in Darion's situation. Your situation may be different, but if you're having issues in this space of love and engagement, you may want to look at these things, because they can help you to understand what imprint may be there that you forgot about. But in Darion's case, and the interviewer was able to get these things out of him. In Darion's case, she was far. They were young, so you didn't have the ability, you didn't have the agency, because you were a child. You had to wait upon other things, other people in and around you, to move the pieces on the chessboard, right? So she's far away, but they're speaking on the phone. So that's all he had, was her voice. All he had was his imagination, and whatever the words she was telling him, he had to believe. According to him, he was in love. He was young, so it's the puppy love, okay? From there, she moves on his side of town through a flood. And when she moves to his side of town, you ever been in a long distance relationship? It's all pixie dust, because it may be a different story. It may be a different scenario. So she moves on his side of town, and he goes over there one day, and there is another dude. I forgot the name of the dude. You know how I am with names. But he remembers the name of the dude. And usually the first person who offends us, the bully, the name of the person who stole your girl or stole your guy, you're going to remember that person's name, first and last and middle. You understand? You're going to remember all of that stuff. So he remembers that he found out that he wasn't her only boyfriend. And that crushed him. So this is the backdrop of Darian, of what we are looking at and what you're willing to do and who you're willing to expose or who you're willing to use to get to your desired end, right? That among other things that he shared. But I just thought that was a interesting talking point to, and the interviewer Kojo, he brought it out, that this was something for him to look at, to understand why he's putting these women through all of these things to get to the bag. They have to prove their loyalty. He has to put them through the ringer because he doesn't trust. Why? Because he got his heart broken in the first love. He was deceived in that first love, right? He was led to believe one thing, and when he showed up, it was something else. And according to what he said, he was even willing to forgive her. So bring it back to ourselves, right? Darian, one thing, and the author, the interviewer also said he was just like blah. He just say whatever. I was like, dang, Darian, but he allows you to catch it as it is. He's just saying what needs to be said. Yep. Shout out to the Yummy Cottage. I don't want to take a break just yet because I'm gonna break my chain of thought, but definitely going over to the Yummy Cottage. We setting it up over there, y'all. We setting it up over there. So hey, shalom to the family. What's going on? So, one of the things as we move through our healing journey, and I like Dr. Nicole. I don't like to be comparative, but Dr. Nicole has a more calm, even spirit, right? I know Iyanla has a different lane, but Dr. Nicole for me is more like healing in the sense of, you know what I mean? Iyanla, oh Father, she be traumatizing me while she traumatizing the people. But she did her work. She did her work for many years, so I'm not gonna bother her. I don't always agree with her methodology, but hey, she does what she does. Um, what was I gonna say? So as it relates to the healing journey, whether or not you want to deal with in this specific situation, fear, like in the case of Sean and LaRonda. I don't know about Sean and LaRonda. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. uh she might have to do a lot of carrying and heavy lifting in that relationship, because it doesn't look like Sean is all the way there. That father wound that Sean has, and through domestic violence, and that desire not to become like onto his father, it's a slippery slope. Because even though you don't want to be like that person, that may be the only representation that right? And if put in a certain position and situation, as we saw in this narrative, he didn't really trust himself in different situations. That stuff has to have an opportunity to be able to come out, right? Because it's still in there. Whatever he's nursing, whatever he has been harboring, whatever he has been carrying. So that I don't know if Sean is all the way ready to get married. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. And then LaRonda was over there like, oh, if he proposes, I don't know. And then dude proposes, and she's like, yes. I was like, I thought you just said if he proposed, you don't know. So why are you hollering yes? Sometimes it's more about the thing than it is the thing for many people, right? It's more about the wedding than it is the marriage, right? And then when you get in there, you're like, how did I get in here and how do I get out? So there are many things to learn from this conversation. Uh, Eric and Jessica, I, I was glad at the end, even though I'm not a makeup person, but I was glad at the end that whoever was doing Jessica's makeup, and I'm not trying to be funny, maybe it was my TV or my phone, but I'm glad at the end they finally got that foundation to match. Jessica, every episode, I was like, why are they doing this to Jessica? And I don't know whoever else is watching it, but I'm like, why is Jessica's? It's the artist in me, y'all. I'm like, why is Jessica's face not matching the neck? That foundation wasn't fitting the sister. But what I appreciated about her conversation is that at the end, um, my bad, can I be heard? At the end, they were able to I think move beyond the superficial between her and him. I think that couple had a lot more growth than the other two. If Darian was playing us and Sean, I don't know what's going on with him. I think the most growth in that conversation was between Jessica and Eric. And it's something for us to be able to look at. That therapy is important. Having other people, not just your homeboys and your homegirls, having other people, trained professionals, people who have studied in the areas. Yeah, they used the tools. I think they used the tools. It was difficult. It was hard. It was interesting to see the way what's his name again? I just said his name. Eric was challenged with the lady the touchy feely lady. I'm just gonna call her touch me, tease me, touchy feely. He was challenged with touchy feely, but he understood that, yo, I'm not gonna transgress a certain boundary because touchy feely was doing the most. Did you see touchy feely? AQ and what's going on? Touchy feely was all in the salt cave, like all over dude's arm. I'm like, yo, even though you may be in the massage or whatever therapy session, why are you feeling? You're not even supposed to feel the fruits at the supermarket like you was filling up on dude. You was doing too much. But Touchy Feely wanted to really shoot her shot. So I figured, I forgot her name. If y'all remember Touchy Feely's name, let me know. But she shot her shot, and he realized that he wanted to put in the work that he needed to. So for me, they get the most growth award. Darion and Alexa, it is it. I'm smelling something that's not smelling too right in this conversation. The 14 years, she kept harping on it. I was like, what relationship are you in that you have to keep saying 14 years, 14 years, 14 years? I was like, after a while, every episode, she was kind of running that line kind of hard. I'm not even going to front. So when Darion said they planned it, I was like, there's a possibility. Yeah, how many people think so? I don't know if you saw the video, but and then he gonna be mad at the little black book talking about he didn't let him pull out his receipts. I understood what Kojo was doing, like beyond the scandal. That's what I do with these shows that I do have an opportunity to watch, because just talking about it, just to be talking about it, to me is a waste of time. So if we're not learning from it, and if we're not growing from it, and if we're not having opportunities to discuss and improve, then for me it's a waste of time. So I totally understood why he wanted to make the people whole and not just gossip about what we were watching, right? So he gave them an opportunity to display themselves as a whole being. And so yeah, so that 14 years line, it was OD. Like, he had whole babies on you, fam. Where were you for 14 years? So their storyline is not adding up. Her storyline is having them off and on. His storyline is having them only in the beginning, and then she goes off, and only 1 month. His storyline is 1 month before the show they meet. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the specifics. We wasn't there. You wasn't there. I wasn't there. But what can we take away from it? Oftentimes, for fame, or for to get back into the limelight, people would do anything, especially if this is what they're exposed to. And it was weird because Darion gave his birthday, and I'm out here like I'm older than Darion. I don't look older than Darion. When Darion gave his birthday, I'm like, y'all got me out here feeling old, bro. But Queen T says, still learning lessons. Darion is deceitful. Yeah. Well, according to him, he was willing to deceive all of America to how possibly get a spinoff by pretending, because in the beginning he says he doesn't want a marriage. So I'm like, how is it put a ring on it if you don't want a marriage? That makes no sense. And then she's saying she doesn't want a child unless she has marriage. And he's adamant about a ring changing things, which was interesting. So I'm like, y'all are not a match. Next, you probably got somebody right now pissed that they could have fixed their life. They could have been over here just trying to get a ring on it. And you got Darion and Alexa taking up the one spot that somebody else could have got. You know what I mean? Another struggling couple that really wanted to make it. I mean, we have to also look at things at the other side, that when you misrepresent, there's a thought that I hold, that when we lie, we steal, right? Not we still things, we still trust, we still reliability, we still a lot of things. So in this, what he's saying is a lie. You stole the opportunity from someone else who authentically wants to heal their relationship, to get it to the next level, to receive counseling and to engage into a process that could have been helpful. So we also have to look at it like that. Like, I'm not like all the way invested where, oh, my heart is breaking, but I'm like, bruh, you could have found another way to get on TV. You ain't have to come over here and lie about a 14-year relationship and then take the people. Y'all have to see it. I can't even share my screen because I'm on not the share screen one. But that's what I had to say about that. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not gonna stay too long. I haven't been able to do a lot of conversation because there's just a lot going on. But that's my thoughts on that. The show that the brother breaks it down. You know what I mean? He gives some good insight on some things that people could pick up from and learn from and grow from. So definitely check that out. And yeah, any more questions or comments or anything you have to say, feel free to share. I think I put and more in the title. So I did a little black book. I put the ring on it. Um, hmm. Oh, the Eric had Eric, it's interesting to see how a lot of the issues and the way in which we deal in the present relationships go back to our parents. So Eric did bring up in one of the therapies that he had issues with his mother and that his mother was a taker and he was a giver. As the son who, quote, made it, he felt obligated to take care of his mother, but he didn't feel that there was any reciprocity in that relationship. Right. So it's when we are having trouble, when we come up upon, welcome to the conversation, William, when we come up upon roadblocks. This is even the conversation that I had with the sister the other day. When we come up on roadblocks, it's important to look at the players, not just where we are now, because the people who we attract now, they oftentimes represents a lack or a need that we have. And so and if it's something that occurred earlier on in life, they are just going to be a representation of the person who actually did the injury. Right. So they be me re-injuring you, but they're not the original offender. Usually the original offender is the person who made the imprint. Right. And to make the imprint, I just went to the store the other day, like a few days ago. My children wanted clay. Right. They wanted clay. So they all like, oh yeah, we're gonna go on YouTube and we're gonna watch some clay videos, and mommy, we about to make some blah blah blah. I'm like, I bet. Right. So I gets the clay. Now I've done clay work in the past and pottery in the past. When you do pottery, when the clay is fresh, you have to keep it wrapped so that it doesn't dry out. When you want to work it, you have to put water on it. It is malleable. Okay. It's malleable. The older it gets, the more exposed it gets. Follow me, because I'm not gonna jump the ship yet. The more exposed it gets to the elements is the harder it gets. The more the moisture gets drawn out, and it's the harder it gets. Follow me? All right. When we are impressionable like that clay in our formative years, the people who are closest to us in and around us, they make the impression. It's like walking on the cement when it's still wet, putting your hands on the cement when it's still wet. Those are the people who make the impressions. Mother, father, sister, brother, the people who are closest to us in our formative years, your first love, your grandparents, your first grade teacher, your kindergarten teacher. When the clay is wet and when the cement is wet, those people come and make the impression. Okay? Good, bad, or indifferent. Afterwards, we attract people who fit into those spaces. Afterwards, you go to the star, what they call it, the Walk of Fame of Hollywood, and you try to put your hands into the impressions of other people's hands that have already dried. You get what I'm saying? And the closer you are to that person's body type, is the more it is a good fit. So the closer the people are to our injury, if it's an injury, the closer they are to our hangups, is the more that they fit in our maladaptive lives and our mentality of how we're dealing with things. And so that's why I say that the people who we manifest now are just a representation of the injuries that we had aforetime. Yeah, like how I said aforetime. Yeah, I've been doing some reading in my books. Aforetime. You understand? And so this is why it's important to have a handle on those dark, shattery figures that we say, oh, that was so long ago. Oh, that was 20 years ago. Oh, that was 40 years ago. Oh, that was so long ago. I don't remember. But you do, because it's in your subconscious, just like the subconscious community. All of the dross and all of the drop the dregs, all of that stuff comes up because it's still in there. I don't know if you ever made fresh juice. Ju- the longer the juice sits is the more that the dregs or the thicker fibers, the denser fibers, they settle to the bottom. It don't mean it's gone. You didn't strain it out. It's still in there. And if you come along and start drinking that juice, guess what's going to start coming up to the surface? All of that stuff that was already in there that you claimed was not. So we see that kind of stuff in the relationships as they're playing out before us. We see that kind of stuff in our own lives. And we think it's the new husband we have, or the new boyfriend, or the new wife, or your fiance. No, you're looking for them, or holding them accountable, or judging them, or chastising them, or loving them in the way that either you wanted to be loved, or treated in the way you were treated, holding them accountable for the injury that they did not. So this is why Kojo, and I like what he said to them. He said, do you realize that concerning Darion conversation? And of course, I've said it so much, you're probably going to go over there and watch the video. That's what I want you to do. But he's like, you're holding these women accountable, and you're putting them through all of this stuff because of something that's going on inside of you. And he said to him, do you realize you're breaking them before you claim that you're going to have all of this love to give to them? And there are certain people that will put you to the ringer, have you jump through 50 umpteen hoops, right? Do the absolute most to prove your loyalty and to prove your love, right? And after you have contorted and pilated yourself under the limbo line, and all broken, now you become codependent. Now you are wholly dependent on them to make you whole again, because they took away pieces of you for you to fit into their mold. And once we move from that space and we get to a healthier space, hopefully that's where we're trying to move to. If we're not only on an intimate level, but as a collective, you move to a healthier space where people get to come to the conversation whole, or on their way to being whole. There's some people who only want you to show up broken, because if you show up broken, then you're easy to manipulate, you're easy to control, you're easy to be misled. You understand? So you become the puppet, you become Pinocchio and they become Geppetto. You know what I mean? And so I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that. So anybody else have any questions or comments? Darion making some shady, and I think it's a genuine show. I think it's a genuine show. Yeah, Darion did make it sound shady. I'm like, Darion. Oh wait, and then Darion goes in on OWN, like, yo, I don't like that channel. Blah blah blah. Like, he goes in on Oprah. He's funny low key. He's funny, but it's not. It's not supposed to be funny. But I ain't gonna front. Y'all know me. I have a hard time when something is funny, but it's not supposed to be. He's funny. As a matter of fact, let me play his clip before I go. Darion, this one is for you.
Let me finish. Usually girls with breasts like that, you know, they bring me in the breast. Let me finish. Usually girls with booty like that, girls shaped like that and look like that, they make the ones who weren't like that look bad. You kissed her? Let me finish. You doing now what she don't do. Don't compare me to her.
You doing now what she don't do. You doing now what she don't do. For those who just joined us, I'm gonna wrap it up. That's just my thoughts on the show. I think it has takeaway value. If we are willing to see how even group therapy can help others to put into context the things that they may be going through. It helps us to reflect if that's what's needed. And it also shows that you may be the only person in a relationship that's trying to make strides. to fix something, and then that's not necessarily going to work. I mean, you can work on you and you can do what it is that you need to do to set the tone, but you can't make the other person work. You can't make the other person put in the effort because it's a relationship. It's how you two relate. So when that happens, oftentimes you have people, all right, Queen T, uh, Queen T said she got some business calls to make. Now get that business, Queen T, get that business. Um, if it's only one person in the relationship trying to make it work, that's not going to work either. And a lot of people find themselves in this space where one person may want to go to therapy and the other person does not. I spoke about this before. And when that happens, or they're only going because X, Y, and Z, to shut the person up, to this, to that, to whatever, because they don't think anything's wrong with them, or they don't want anybody to see their vulnerabilities. A lot of times, our bad behaviors is just it's our ego, and it's just to cover up our vulnerabilities, our inadequacies, and our shortcomings. And so going to therapy is kind of exposing yourself to a certain degree. It's uncovering the wound, what you've been bandaging, what you've been overcompensating for. And people would rather keep the scab on. They would rather play like they're tough than to fix the things. So when we run out of gas with what we know how to do, it's either we're going to put in effort to learn new things, or we're just going to fight to hold on to the way in which we've always done it. You know what I mean? And so this show is it's important in the sense that it shows when people, both parties, are willing to say, you know what, this is the way we've always done it and it's not working. So either we're going to do this or we're going to let it go. And so oftentimes we as a people have a problem letting things go. And so we do like Alexia and Darion. You got one little straggly, not them, I'm just talking about hard to let go. Like women sometimes, or even men, they may have dreads or they may have hair, but it's nothing but split ends, or it's hanging on by a little straggly little string, right? And instead of letting it go, cutting it off, or starting again, we want to say, like, I've been growing these for 20 years, but bruh, it's hanging on by a thread, right? And so we attach the time to it to give it the value and make excuses as to why we are not willing to let those things go, because sometimes we don't like change, you know what I mean? But I'm that person, like, I think you better let it go. Just let it go, bruh. Just let the one straggly dread go. It's okay. It's okay. That was a phase in our life, you know? I've convinced a person or two to just go ahead and let it go. I be like, yo, your dread is scraggly. Just stop. Will you stop already? All right, everybody. Yummy Cottage. Let me do a Yummy Cottage commercial, and then we'll be back. There's so much stuff I want to talk about, but this math got me running, y'all. I feel like I'm on the treadmill. Jeez Louise. Let me do a Yummy Cottage commercial, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Let's see. Oh, let's do some soap, y'all. Let's do some soap. We got something in store for you today. Y'all gonna love this one. Stay tuned. TYC TV. This is Amuna. Welcome back again. And again, Zahava. Zahava is back, this time with the organic bar and liquid soap set. Now, I don't want the other soap babies hearing that this is one of my favorites, okay? This Sweet Dreams, I would say you're one of my favorites for the nighttime hour, okay? So we have Sweet Dreams with lavender. We have the liquid Castile soap with lavender, and we have the bar soap. I'm going to go ahead and sniff the bar of soap because it smells so good. It's a 4-ounce bar, perfect for bathing. It's sensitive enough for everyone within the household. And the liquid soap, what I like to do, either you can use it to bathe or you can use it as a hand soap. So that works too. It suds and it lathers well, and it just smells so good. It moisturizes your skin, does not dry you out, doesn't have any alcohol in there, so it is a perfect substitute for your liquid soap. So today we have them here for $11.95 the pack. It will do you well from Zahava. Again, Zahava is a company started a long time ago, sourcing the best of the best. Went on a bit of a hiatus, but now is back. And trust me, you're going to enjoy this for time to come. So go ahead and click the link, and we'll see you again soon. All right, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll come see you on the next side. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop it in the box below. I'm about to go do some more work. All right, one.